The Xantares peek, the Donk shuffle. How are we supposed to peek inside a Counter-Strike 2? That's a question a lot of us have been asking recently. Today, I'm going to help explain to you what you should be doing when you're peeking. This isn't going to make you like Donk overnight. This isn't going to turn you into a pro, but by the end of this video, you're at least going to understand the fundamentals of Counter-Strike 2 and what you should be doing in order to give yourself the best chance possible in every single engagement that you are taking. So let's get right into that. First, guys, I think it's very good if we talk about what we should not be doing when we are peeking, right? A lot of players that I coach, which if you want coaching, link down below in the description, they make this mistake. When they are peeking angles, and all of us are doing this because like I said, I see it a lot. We are walking into angles. Guys, inside of Counter-Strike 2, as least often as possible, do we want to walk clear angles. Why? Because if somebody is holding that angle, you're peeking them with a very low velocity, right? So in general, in this game, when we're peeking angles, we want as high of a velocity as possible because it allows us to throw off their crosshair better, right? If we are peeking this long angle, if we're coming out here like this, it gives them all the time in the world to react from when they see our elbow or see our hand versus when we get to see them with the center of our eyes, right? When we're peeking them with our head. So in general, you want to make sure that you're getting rid of this little transition when they see you and you can't see them as fast as possible, right? I see a lot of players doing that wrong, and we're going to get into some other stuff, but first I have to give you a message from the sponsor of today's video. Thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Skins Monkey. They are one of the greatest and easiest to use CS2 trading sites out there. You can swap out the skins you do not like for brand new ones that are so much more fresh. Even skins that are trade locked can be secured by adding them to your backpack. The greatest thing about the site is that you can buy skins for so much cheaper with a 35% deposit bonus when you use my code COJO. Make sure to check out the freebie section where you can get a free skin just by completing tasks. On top of the bonuses, you also get a $5 bonus when clicking the link in the description. Alright guys, the next thing I see players doing wrong inside of this game is a lot of times people are doing the double whammy. They're peeking too slow and they're peeking way too close to angles. Now you might be like, but Kojo, Xantares said to peek close and swing wide. Sure guys, but in general, you want to avoid being close to the walls. Why is that? Because say we're peeking this long car position. If I'm up here on this wall and I'm going to peek car like this, they see me actually way before I see them, right? When I'm holding this here, when I'm about to peek, they're actually seeing my entire body. As you can see, this is the corner. And do you see how my legs and arms and everything is past it? If somebody is sitting here, they're going to see that way sooner, right? And they're going to be able to know, hey, this guy's peeking. In general, the rule of thumb, no matter if you're upping, if you're rifling, if you're on pistols, the farther away from the corner, the better. The person that is farther from the corner is going to see the other person first. This is just how real life works. This is how the physics of it works, right? I'm not a scientist, I'm not a mathematician, but if you're farther away from the angle, you're going to see them sooner. A lot of new players don't understand that, and they'll hold these close angles, and they'll be surprised when somebody can see them and starts pre-firing them. And then what really bad players do is they say, oh, this guy's cheating, he's seeing me before I see him. No, you just suck at math. You're just not able to understand math. And if we can learn from that, we become so much better, right? So this is something that you can actually keep in mind too, not just when you're peeking, but when you're holding angles as well, right? We want to be as far away as possible. We don't necessarily, want to hold this off angle right here, right? We want to come all the way back here and hold this for multiple reasons, but just in general, stay away from corners, stay far. A lot of players are doing that wrong. Now, another thing that players aren't utilizing enough, it's not necessarily what you're doing wrong, is you're not utilizing jiggling as much. Now, let's go ahead and get out along here so I can use other examples. When we're going through areas where there's going to be multiple angles and places where people could be, it doesn't pay off to just like swing forward through here. And I even did it there a little bit. It doesn't pay off to just run through and try to swing like this. Why? Because a player could be here, could be here, could be playing a million different off angles in all these different positions. So what you'll see high level players doing is they'll sit here and they'll combine pre-firing and like pre-aiming angles and jiggling, right? What is the point of jiggling and how do we do it? The point of jiggling is so that your body is moving back and forth so that one, hopefully you can bait out an op shot, but two, your player model is bouncing back and forth a little bit And you might be like, well, Kojo, aren't you inaccurate doing that? No, in this game, as long as you keep your velocity low enough, even if I'm jiggling like this, I am pretty accurate, right? I messed up there. I didn't do it perfectly. But do you see that even if we're jiggling, we are still accurate? This is because I'm going A and D, right? That's how you do these little jiggle peaks, is A and D, A and D. And I don't see enough players utilizing these jiggles. And if you saw what I did just there, I utilize a crouch as well. Why is crouching so good, especially for newer players? If you can throw in these crouches, you know, when you're jiggling and you're peeking these angles like that, again, it just throws off your player model. It moves your player model down. From their perspective, they see your head dip. It just dips like that. Very hard to hit. And it allows you to bounce around like that. As long as you can keep your crosshair generally in the same spot, it's very good. Also, it's mostly a bad habit that I don't want you to get into. But when you're crouching, even if you're holding A or D, so you're not strafing perfectly, your counter strafes aren't the best, it allows you to be accurate, right? So in this game, watch what happens when I'm running, right? If I'm running to the left, I'm just going to press my A key here. Look how inaccurate I am, right? The bullets literally go everywhere. Versus when I'm crouching and going, I'll let these fade for a second. We're going to be 100% accurate. And while we're waiting, guys, hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on these tips and tricks, and send this video to somebody that needs help peeking and understanding how to play the game. Ready? We're going to crouch. And do you see how it actually just follows the recoil pattern, right? I didn't control it at all, and it just follows the recoil pattern. So if we can get our aim and our recoil down, watch what we can do. We can come out here and be very accurate, right? If we're aiming in this position, most of our bolts are going to hit him, and a lot of these are just user error. That's on me. So utilizing crouching can be extremely effective, right? And a lot of players are not, they understand this, but they're not doing it right. What I don't want you to get into the habit of doing, guys, is crouching out angles like this. If there's anything worse than walk peeking, it's going to be crouch peeking like this. This is bad. You'll never see this. The only time you'll ever see a pro doing something similar to that is like when they're coming out catwalk here and they want to like make sure that their only their head is showing on an angle like this, right? So they'll get back behind as deep as they can here and crouch out like this. But that's not because it's advantageous to path like that, or I mean, you know, to peek like that. It's just because, like, you know, if an opera's here or something and they're trying to be sneaky, this can be a better way to do it versus then exposing their entire body up here. So don't crouch peek like that. If you're going to utilize it, it's very important to use it in moderation. But if I were to give any advice to you guys, it's to get good at counter strafing and going back and forth like AD. All you got to do is go around the map. Don't hold W. This is an exercise and a drill every single player can do from face level 1 to pro, is don't hold W. Go on all these angles and just practice peeking with A and D, right? So I'm holding my D key and in my A key. I'm tapping back and forth to jiggle out all these angles and just practice your pre-firing, right? Practice your pre-firing and crouches, all these different things, bouncing up and down and getting used to seeing how your crosshair moves when you crouch, right? See, when we're aiming here, if I press crouch, my crosshair dips down. So if we want to stay on that angle, we got to make sure that while we're crouching, we move it up just a tiny bit. So get used to that movement and you'll be so much better off. And then if you want to expand on it, practice your pre-firing. This is where you get really good. Say I know an opera is posted on these doors here. Guys, if you're going to peek them, again, we got to decide what we're going to do. A really effective way to peek this person is to do like a little pre-fire, right? You just visualize behind this wall where they're going to be and place your crosshair in that angle. And we messed it up there. But as you can see, if we can get good at this, it is going to be very effective. And guys, just the way Counter-Strike 2 works, if you have higher ping, you're going to have the advantage when you're peeking, and when you're holding angles, you're going to be at a disadvantage. In this game's peeker's advantage is very strong, so the person swinging is usually going to have the advantage, right? Now, I wouldn't recommend just swinging an opera like this, even though you have the advantage. They just have a one-shot gun that can destroy you. But if you're facing a pistol or a rifle and doors there, very good pre-fire like this. And you just got to get good at understanding where they are. I'm not the best at it since I'm an opera in the professional scene. I don't need to be as good. Obviously, I'm very proficient and can still rifle. But yeah, it's really good. Another super good concept we can think about is ultra wide swinging something, right? If you know an opera is posted, this can be very effective. And we can actually combine this with a few things, right? So what is an ultra wide swing? It's almost like your Xantares peak. I don't care if you peek up close, deep, where you're at, but you're swinging with full velocity with just one of your keys. In this case, it's going to be D. And when we take the engagement past where it should be, then we use our other key, our A key, or crouch to cancel our momentum. So it's going to look something like this. If we know someone's there, we're going to swing as wide as we can and then crouch when we're ready to fight, right? So we're gearing up to swing, geared up, boom. And from their perspective, you'll swing them extremely fast and they might miss the shot if they're holding a tight angle. So if you ever think someone's holding a really tight angle, it is so effective to do this. Now, if someone's not holding a tight angle and they're kind of out here, you're probably dead, right? Holding tight angle, you're 100% going to get past them. It's so hard to hit the shot. You can do this in multiple different areas. Mid doors here is good if someone's like holding right here, you know, wide swing like that. And just play around with this. It's not my favorite thing to do because I'm not an aggressive rifler like that. I prefer combining it like this. So if I know someone's there and I'm trying to play this game with them, I'm trying to jiggle them, maybe not that far, don't jiggle that far, but I'm trying to jiggle them, maybe even bait them a little bit like this. And then after they've seen me jiggling and they're ready for another jiggle and they're about to try to kill me, I'll, instead of jiggling, just wide swing them super far and then kill them like that, right? So these are some ways you can play with people and really get them to miss their shots and frustrate them, right? It's really good to wide swing somebody when it's an upper holding a close angle, because the swing is going to be magnified the closer they are, right? They're scoped in, they're looking at you. So if you're ever playing a close range opera, it pays off to do this. And also, guys, I don't see enough players doing this. When you're on pistol rounds, when you're on Glocks, especially if they have an op or something, or you have a Mac 10, utilize the jump key. Jump around and throw off their crosshair. It's so good, and these guns have very little jumping fall off with their accuracy, and especially with the Glock, when you land, you can just shoot around and, you know, be very active with it. So be active with these guns, or you're not using them to their advantage. You should never be walk peeking angles really with Mac 10s or stuff like that. Get active, run around, and be aggressive with those guns. So let's finally talk about how you can peek like Donk, because there's a lot of people that are disappointed we left this till the end. Guys, all Donk is doing is he's utilizing a wide swing. If someone's holding him here indoors, he's utilizing a wide swing, and when he sees where the person is, like they're about to take the fight, he counter strafes and goes the other way. So we're running to the right, and as soon as we take that contact and start engaging, he crouches and then uses his other key, which is the A key here, and sprays while he's holding the A key. So run with the D key, spray with the A key like this. So essentially his player model is moving to one side and then crouching down and going the other way. It's very effective. It's hard to deal with. And it's a little funny because in CSGO, we always used to say, don't hold your crouch key. Don't hold your crouch key. It's bad, right? And it can be a bad habit, but if you utilize it correctly, it can be so good, right? And what you'll see a lot of pros actually doing is when they're peeking at these angles, they'll crouch and then uncrouch and then like recrouch again. They'll hold crouch and uncrouch multiple different times to have their head bob up and down, right? Really good, super nice. I guess, guys, I'll give you one more tip before we leave. I was just gonna do this video, maybe we'll do a part 2. There's so many things we can learn with peeking. I'll honestly do a part 2 if this video gets 200 likes. You guys can make that happen. But when you're on pistols too, guys, always move around. AD. That's why it's so important to learn this skill, and you're always trying to shoot as you're holding your counter strafe key. So if I'm moving to the right, I'm going to be accurate when I tap my A key, right? When that movement speed is at 0. So boom, I'm accurate. Boom, I'm accurate. Boom, I'm accurate. Boom, I'm accurate. See, all the bullets will go in the general area. A lot of this is user error and just also the weapon inaccuracy. But when you're shooting like that, it's so easy, right? And that's how pros do this, right? That's how pros peek like this. And there's a lot of stuff I'm missing. So guys, leave a comment down below. This isn't going to make you level 10, but this is just a good thing to think about. And I think if newer players would watch this, they'd have a greater understanding of what to do when it comes to peeking and why they might be getting destroyed. So if this video even helped one person, I'm super happy. But thanks for listening to my ramble session. I'm sure I'll get 5 comments telling me to quit yapping, but it is what it is. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep working hard. I'll see you guys all in Saudi Arabia in November. I'm looking forward to that. But until then, we'll be here grinding videos away. Peace out. Peace out.